MathMania Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss linear algebra questions that were asked in December 2015. In this video, we will cover the part B questions. Okay, the first question is A is any matrix that is given as A is a matrix of order 3 by 4 and is having the rank 2. Okay, and we are asked to find out the rank of A transpose A. Okay, so we'll have to find out the rank of A transpose A with this information. If you try to find out the rank of this matrix arbitrarily by choosing some matrix of order 3 by 4 with rank 2 and these stuff, that would incur much time. Okay, let us try to do it systematically through the ideologies. Basically, A is given to be a matrix of order 3 by 4, which means A can be treated as a mapping from R4 to R3. Okay, then A transpose can be treated as a mapping from R3 to R4. So these ideas we have, and it is given that rank of A is 2, therefore rank of A plus nullity of A, which is equal to 4. Since we know the rank of A, nullity of A is what? That is 4 minus 2, which is 2. This we know. Okay. Now let us try to prove something that we have done in the one of the previous video. That is, let me take an arbitrary element from kernel of A, which means what? This is Ax equals 0. I just multiply A transpose with this. So A transpose x equals 0, which tells me that x is a member of kernel of A transpose A also. Okay, A transpose A also. X is a member of A transpose A also. Now let me choose a member from A transpose A, which means A transpose Ax is 0. Now I multiply x transpose to both the sides. X transpose multiplied with 0 is 0. So this is Ax whole transpose Ax, which is equal to 0. This is possible only when Ax is 0, which tells me this x is a member of kernel of A. So just by proving these things, what do we achieve? Kernel of A is a subset of kernel of A transpose A, and by this we get kernel of A transpose of A is a subset of kernel of A, which together gives kernel of A is same as that of kernel of A transpose A. Okay, we get this ideology. So if this is true, then what? Nullity of A is same as that of nullity of A transpose A. Right? Okay. Now we'll have to check this A transpose A is a matrix of what order? A transpose A. This is a matrix of order 4 by 3 and this is a matrix of order 3 by 4. Hence it is a mapping from R4 to R4. So we get these things. Okay. We have to find out rank of A transpose A, plus we know that by rank nullity theorem this is equal to 4 and we get this to be equal to 2. Hence rank of A transpose A is what? 4 minus 2, which is 2. So the option 1 is right. So the rank of A transpose A is exactly equal to 2. Okay. In one of the previous video we have discussed one more idea. If we need the rank of A transpose A, means that is the product of two matrices which is smaller than or equals minimum of rank of A transpose and rank of A. Since A is a matrix of order rank 2, okay, A is a matrix, since A is a matrix with rank 2, A transpose is also a matrix with rank 2, and you may end up saying that rank of A transpose A is less than or equals 2. Okay, if you just simply apply this ideology, you would get this one. That is also given in the option 4. Okay, but that is also considered to be the right answer, but since this is a part B question, we will have to look for the utmost correct, the most appropriate one. Here we are able to produce or prove that rank of A transpose A is 2 Hence, among these two things, this is the most appropriate one. In the next question, we are given a quadratic form Q of V, which is defined as V transpose AB with the matrix A given as 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 and 0 0 1 0. Okay, and this V is given as X Y Z W. Actually, it has to be given as the transpose of this thing, because only when you treat this V as the column matrix, this operation can be well defined, right? And in the options, what are the things that is given? We will have to examine the rank of this matrix, and can we write some quadratic form with the help of this quadratic form? These things are to be checked. Okay, as of now, first let me tell you the idea of checking the rank of the quadratic form. The rank of the quadratic form is nothing but the rank of the matrix by using which it is constructed. Here the rank of the matrix is clearly 4, hence the rank of the quadratic form is also 4. Option 1 cannot be true. In second, third and fourth options, we are given several quadratic forms. Let me just list down the quadratic forms. It is z squared, okay, x squared plus y squared minus zw. Okay, let me have these things here, and let me tell you an idea using which this is possible or not can be calculated, right? First of all, in all the three options, it is asked, can we write these things with the help of this Q and an invertible matrix? That invertible matrix P is not restricted. It has to be an invertible matrix. That can be any invertible matrix. Okay. So basically, what is this Q of PV? It is PV transpose A PV. So this can be written as V transpose P transpose A PV. And if you define it to be the matrix B, V transpose B V. Okay, this is what you are trying. So in this case, what you can say is that this A and B, if these are happening to be true for some invertible matrix P, then you can say this A and B are congruent to one another. Okay, you can say A is congruent to B or B is congruent to A. So both way is possible. Okay. Now we are about, this gives us some quadratic. Actually, this Q of V gives us some quadratic form, and by making the if you identify a congruent matrix of this A and find a quadratic form with the help of it, what you are about to get, this is the quadratic form that I am talking. Okay. Now we have a quadratic form with the help of A, and now here we have a quadratic form with the help of B. If these two things are said to be isomorphic, okay, we are talking about the quadratic form isomorphism. If two quadratic forms are isomorphic, if and only if they have same rank and sign. Same rank and signature. Signature of a quadratic form is the difference of positive eigenvalues and the negative eigenvalues. So that is the number of positive eigenvalues minus the number of negative eigenvalues. Okay. For each of these things, we will identify the corresponding matrices B1, B2 and B3, and let us check the rank and signature of these matrices. Okay, your B1, if you have to construct the matrix B1, you can do it simply, just mention these things. Okay, X, Y, Z, W. Okay, see, we must get xy. So this can be got by multiplying this entry with this one, okay, this row and this one. So this position as well as using this position. So whatever the coefficient that you have, you just divide it equally to these positions. So it is half here and half here. Okay, next you have y squared. Sorry, z squared. Okay, you have z squared. That is possible only when you multiply z with z. That is 1. In rest of the places, we will have 0. So clearly, this matrix has rank 3. Whereas the matrix A has rank 4, hence they cannot be isomorphic. Which means you are not able to write this quadratic form by identifying a suitable invertible matrix P. That cannot be done. Okay, now we come to the next one. Okay, here we have xy. The same way we will have half and half in these positions, and we have y square. So 1 in this position and then z square, 1 in this position. So this is the matrix. Okay, here the rank of B2 is again 3, hence this is also a wrong option. Okay, now we come to the third one. If you see, we have x squared, so 1 in the first position and then y squared in 2 position and minus zw, so minus half in this and this positions. So this is the matrix B. Here you can very well see the rank of this matrix is 4. So the rank is satisfied. We can proceed and check whether they have the same signature or not. For which, let me find the eigenvalues of these two matrices. For which, first of all, we will have to write down the characteristic polynomial of these two matrices. Okay, you can very well see that these are block matrices. We have 0 and 0 here. So if you just find out the characteristic polynomial of this one and this one, you can make a product of these two to get the characteristic polynomial of A. So it is x minus 1 whole square, x squared minus 1. In this way, if you just look at the matrix B3, it is also a block matrix. So you would get x minus 1 whole squared and x squared minus half squared. Okay. So from this you would get lambda as lambda values are 1, 1, 1 and minus 1, and from this you would get lambda values are 1, 1, half and minus half. Now we are not going to check the values numerically, but we need the counting. That is number of positive eigenvalues in both the things. That is 3. Number of negative eigenvalues is 1 in both the cases. So 3 minus 1. Signature for both the matrices. That is signature of A and signature of B3. Both are 3 minus 1, that is 2. Right? Since matrices A and B3 have same rank and same signature, they can be isomorphic. Which means you are able to identify a suitable invertible matrix P such that this can be obtained with the help of this quadratic form. Through that means. Okay. Now we move to the next question. In that question it is given that S denote the set of all prime numbers P with the property that we are given a matrix has an inverse in the field Z upon Pz. Okay. First of all, let us note down that matrix, that is 91, 91, 0, 29, 31, 0, 79, 23, 59. So this is the given matrix. S is given to be the set of P such that P is prime, and this matrix has an inverse in Z upon Pz, which means if we take this matrix as A inverse exists in the field P upon Zp or Pz, okay, in this way. So this can also be put in another form, that set of all prime P such that P is prime and determinant of A is non-zero, right? If it has to exist, then we must be able to identify the determinant, and that has to be non-zero. Just identify the determinant of this matrix. Determinant of A. So usually we take these things, like with the help of the first row we calculate the determinant. Here you can pick the last column. This also has plus, minus, plus, right? So it is 59 times of 91 multiplied with 31 minus 91 multiplied with 29. So it is 59 into 91 into 31 minus 29. So it is 59. 91 you can very well break. It is 7 times of 13. So 7 into 13 times 2. These are the prime factors. Okay. So in this particular field, okay, in this field we are looking, okay, sorry, Z upon Pz. So in this particular field you are talking, we know that this Z upon Pz is isomorphic to Zp. Okay. So if your P value is one of this, then the determinant is 0. I am repeating, if your P value equals one of this, then your determinant is 0. For every other P, the determinant is non-zero. Okay. So your S can be set of all prime in which you will have to exclude 2, 7, 13 and 59. The set of prime numbers is basically an infinite set. Okay. From that infinite set you are removing only 4 entries. It still retains infinite. So option 4 is the right option. Okay. Next, moving to the next question. A is given to be a 5 by 5 matrix. Okay. With trace 15. 2 and 3 are eigenvalues of A. Okay. So if it is a 5 by 5 matrix, then we will have 5 eigenvalues, right? Let me name them lambda 1 through lambda 5. So it is given that 2 and 3 are eigenvalues. Each with algebraic multiplicity 2, which means this 2 is repeated 2 times and 3 is also repeated 2 times. And we are asked to find out the determinant of it. This question is very easy question. Okay, we know that sum of all lambda j running from 1 to 5 is trace of the matrix, and the product of all the eigenvalues is determinant. You have 4 eigenvalues, 1 is remaining, that you can find with the help of trace. So 10 plus lambda 5 is 15. So this gives you lambda 5 is 5. Now what is your determinant of A? This is 2 multiplied with 2, product with 3 and 5. This is 180. This is quite easy question. Okay. The next question is P of Pn is denoting the vector space of polynomials in one variable x with real coefficients and with degree smaller than or equal to n, which means this is basically a set a0 a1x till an x power n, such that all this aj are members of real number, where this j runs from 0 to n. Okay, and we are asked to consider a map T which is defined from P2 to P4, defined by T of P of x is P of x squared. Okay, basically what does the transformation mean? If it is P2, then we will have a0 a1x a2x squared, where this a0 a1 a2 are real numbers. Okay. T of P of x, this is basic yeah. So in the question, if you see it in the options, we have 4 options. Among that, last option is T is not a linear transformation. Basically, you will have to verify whether this is a linear transformation or not. Okay, if it is a linear transformation, then you will have to find out the dimension of the range. In order to verify whether this is a linear transformation or not, what should you do? Basically, you will have to pick two entries, P1 of x and P2 of x, from this big P2. Okay, so this P1 of x takes the value a0 a1x plus a2x square, let us say, and this P2 of x takes the value b0 b1x plus b2x square, let us say. Okay, so let me multiply some alpha plus P2 of x. Okay, in order to verify something is a linear transformation, or what can you do? Alpha x plus y equals alpha times of t of x plus t of y. This is one way. Actually, we will have to verify whether this is preserved under vector addition and scalar multiplication. Either you can check this or alpha x plus beta y. So alpha times of t of x plus beta times of t of y. You can check either of this. There is no harm. So I am checking this. So this is what I am doing. So alpha times of this a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus b0 plus b1x plus b2x square. So if I just multiply everything inside, so this is what I am gonna have, plus alpha times of a2 plus b2 multiplied with x square. Okay, let me apply t now. T of alpha p1 of x plus p2 of x. So when I apply here, what does it do? It just convert every x into x square. Okay, so this simply becomes alpha a0 plus b0 plus alpha a1 plus b1 times of x squared plus alpha a2 b2 x to the power 4. Okay, now probably you might have got an idea of what does it do with, if you apply t to this p1 and t to this p2, what are you going to get? That you might have got an idea. So here just split things up. Alpha a0 plus alpha a1 x square plus alpha a2 x to the power 4 plus b0 b1 x square plus b2 x to the power 4. Okay, you can take alpha outside, so this is a0 a1 x square plus a2 x to the power 4 plus b0 b1 x square plus b2 x to the power 4. So this is what you have. This is the quantity that you will get when you apply the mapping t to this p1 of x. So this is alpha times of t of p1 of x plus, and this is the quantity that you will get when you apply t to this p2 of x. p2 of x. So basically this is a linear transformation. Okay. Now we will have to check what is the dimension of the range, for which we are dealing with P2 and P4, right? So let us consider the base is B1, that is 1 x and x square. If you have these three entries, you are able to express all the elements of this P2. And 1x, x square, x cube and x to the power 4. If you have this basis, you can write all the elements of the set P4. Hope you have got the idea of the elements of P4, the form, right? Now let me just apply this t of 1. I am applying the mapping t to the basis element 1. What am I going to get? I am going to get 1. Now I have to express this 1 in terms of these elements. This is 1 times of 1, 0 times of x plus 0 times of x square, 0 times of x cube and 0 times of x to the power 4. T of x is simply x squared. So 0 times of 1 plus 0 times of x plus 1 times of x squared, 0 times of x cube and 0 times of x to the power 4. T of x squared is x to the power 4. So this takes this form. Now if you put this in a matrix form, the coefficients of the basis elements will contribute to column. So it is going to be 1 0 0 0 0. The next would be 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. Okay, this is the matrix of T with respect to the basis B1 and B2. Right? Now we'll have to find out the dimension of a range. Right? What is dimension of a range? That is the rank of the transformation T. If you just find the rank of the matrix this T has, that is your thing. That is 3. So option 2. T is a linear transformation and dimension of range of 3 is range of T is 3. Okay. Now we move to the next question. A is given to be some non-identity matrix. Okay, it is basically a n by n matrix such that A square is A. Okay, which of the following statements is false? Okay, first let me do it theoretically, and at the last I will give you a hint or a shortcut way that will be handy in examination. Okay, and from this, if you try to identify a polynomial which annihilates the given matrix, you would get this is x square minus x. So this may be written as x times of x minus 1, that equals, okay, actually x times of x minus 1. This polynomial annihilates the matrix A. If you have an annihilating polynomial of any matrix A, that has to be divided by the minimal polynomial. This has to divide the minimal polynomial. Actually, the minimal polynomial will divide this annihilating polynomial. And this is what? X times of x minus 1. Okay. If it is so, what are the possibilities for this minimal polynomial? It can be either x or x minus 1 or x times of x minus 1. Okay. Let us consider these 3 cases. First, let me choose the second one. If this is so, then what? We know the fact that minimal polynomial also annihilates the given matrix. If this is my minimal polynomial, then what happens? I will have A minus I equals 0. This gives me my A is an identity matrix. That is not possible. So I cannot choose this one. This cannot be the minimal polynomial. That is the thing. Okay. What if minimal polynomial of x is x? This tells me A is a null matrix. That is a 0 matrix. Yes, it can be there. Okay. So if it is there, then what happens? Actually, this is the basic hint that I would like to give you. So I will come to this later. Okay. As of now, let me choose my minimal polynomial of the matrix A to be equal to x times of x minus 1. But since A is a matrix of order n by n, my characteristic polynomial will have x power something. Okay. As of now, let me put that as m and some k. Okay. But the sum m plus k should be equal to n. So in that case, what do? I just mention it as n minus m. Okay. Instead of writing m and k and specifying the condition that m plus k equals n, I just put it as n minus m. Okay. Now if you look at the minimal polynomial, it has only distinct linear factors. Hence, the matrix has to be diagonalizable one. Okay. That you are getting an idea, right? And basically A square equals A is an idempotent matrix, and every idempotent matrix is diagonalizable. This is diagonalizable. Hence, your matrix A is similar to something. You will have an m by m block here and an n minus m by n minus m block here. This will have the diagonal entries 0 and this will have the diagonal entries 1. So this is what is going to happen. Okay, I think this is enough to check the options. First option says what? In minus a whole square equals in minus a itself. This I think you can very well check. In minus a. So this is in minus a. Then again minus a plus a squared. What is a squared? That is a. So this is in minus a. This is basically a right statement. According to the question, it is wrong because we are asked to identify the false statement. Coming to the second option, trace. So what is trace of a? Trace of a is m times 0 plus n minus m times 1. So it is n minus m. Okay. Trace of a equals rank of a. And if you look at the rank of this one, since this m rows are 0, okay, all the entries of these m rows are 0, this cannot contribute anything to the rank. So only this n minus m rows contributes to the rank. So the rank is n minus m. So the trace is exactly equal to the rank of the matrix A. That is the option 2. That is a true statement, and according to the question, that is a wrong option. And coming to the third option, that is rank of A. Okay. Before that, we will have to find out the matrix in minus A. Yeah. Here, if you see the matrix in minus A, what happens? 1 minus all this 0. M by m block is having full of 1s. And this n minus m block having full of zeros. Hence, the rank of this in minus a is m. Therefore, rank of a plus rank of this in minus a would be what? N minus m plus m, which is equal to n. That is the third option, and that is a true statement, and hence it is wrong option. Okay. And the eigenvalues of a are equal to 1. No. We don't know like how many zeros that we are going to have. But since the minimal polynomial has the factor x, we will have at least 1 0 in it. Hence all are not equal to 1. This is a false statement, and that is the right answer. Okay. And coming back to the previous thing, like when you choose the minimal polynomial of x to be the null matrix, with the help of a null matrix, we examine the all the 4 options. In minus null matrix whole square. The identity matrix whole square is the identity matrix itself. So this is true one. Okay. And when you come to this one, trace of the null matrix is 0, rank of the null matrix is 0. This is also true. And rank of null matrix is 0 and rank of identity minus null is n. This is true. Null matrix does not have 1 as an eigenvalue. Hence option 4 is the right one. Okay. So basically, if you proceed with the null matrix, you can very well complete this problem. This will be handy when you work out a problem in part B. Okay. But if I explain you the options with the help of the null matrix itself, you do not get an idea of how these things work. Okay. This will be helpful when you work out problems of such kind in part C. Okay. For idempotent matrix, this is fine. But for other matrices, if you have to work out with the ideologies of how these things work, these things may be helpful to you. That is why I have explained you everything. Thank you. We will meet in the next video.